Hello everyone, this is Saurabh Sharma. Welcome to Vijayatha IAS Academy. Today we are doing the current affairs of 31st of January 2022. In this session we have this topic of exports of marine products, which is important not from this news, but the background of the news is very important because it is talking about a sector. Marine sector. That's how you have to look at this news. So what is the context? Why did we get this news in context of 31st January? It is exports of marine products registered a growth of 35% during April-December 2021 provisional. That means it is not finalized data as compared to the same period in the year 2022. So that means this clubbing of quarters we are actually talking about. Let's look at it, what this news has got for us. The latest available share percent in bracket are USA 44.5% we have exported to, China 15.3%, Japan 6.2%, Vietnam 4%, Thailand 3%. As you can see that the major is the continental geography of the country. For example, United States has coastline as well as the deep, vast interior plains. China has the same thing, a large, long coastline and deep interior plains. Japan, almost an island country. Vietnam, very narrow country with a broader shoreline. Then Thailand, of course, a kind of island within the scattered phase and also an interior country, but with so many rivers and everything. So that's how you can see that gradually our exports is decreasing towards the east, whereas when we are moving towards west, it is maximum, that is to United States of America. What are we exporting to these countries? The major shares in India's marine products exports items with 74% share in the value terms, and we are actually exporting frozen shrimps. That means it is just the one product. Shrimps, if I'm not wrong, it is, I think, jhinga. In Hindi we call. So the prawns, shrimps, whatever you say, constitute the major share. That is 74 to 75% we are sending, and then we are actually sending the fishes and other products. Several exports promotion schemes for fisheries have been implemented by Marine Products Export Development Authority statutory body. This MPEDA is a statutory body. That means it has the backing of Parliamentary Act in 1972 under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. So this is important for prelims. That MPEDA comes under Ministry of Commerce and Industry, not Ministry of Fisheries or Sea or Ocean or Marine. It is coming under Ministry of Commerce and Industry for promotion of export of marine products from India. So this is it in this news, but the story starts from here. Friends, a kind of a scientific advice to you all that whenever you are studying or making an analysis of any sector, be it sectors from the agriculture sector, industrial sectors or whatsoever, and you have a scope of making a comparison with the developing or developed worlds or developed countries with the same sector, then I would request you that you start your preparation with the images first. Try to see the images, try to analyze the images, whatever it is reflecting, see the elements present in the imaging, and then you start making a framework in your mind, and then in the same directions you start thinking about. For example, before taking you into this whole sector of marine products, we are talking about, in this article we are talking about the products, but our main focus is on the sector itself, marine sector. So before I would take you to the depth of this article, I would like you to see that some pictures I have for you. See this picture. This picture has this gentleman wearing cool clothes with a hat, this funky jacket, then this specially designed industrial uniform, a kind of apron which is not letting the waves hitting them or probably it is saving, or it is working as a security shield or a safeguard shield between the fishes, because sometimes fishes are very aggressive when they are coming out of the water. So they, and like the sharp fins and sharp edges of the tail sometimes gives a cut to the fishermen, and probably they might lose their life because the stomach part, the chest part, sometimes the throat part is also slit. We have seen that in so many examples. Now look at this gentleman, he's wearing a hat for the security purposes. Again, this long bottom apron is there. Then see the deck of the boat, see the kind of the apparatus they have on the boat, right? After this, take a look on this image. Again, these fishermen are wearing gloves. Then here it's again a kind of apron which is of course made of plastics, but the safety boots these people are wearing, this gentleman here it is wearing, right? And these people are offloading, and it seems that with the hats I can make out that this picture is belonging to somewhere in the southeastern countries like Vietnam or Cambodia. Now after looking at these two pictures, that is, this is highly organized trade they are doing, and they are also here the basic amenities of security elements, safety elements related to this industry these people are adhering to. And it seems that the way people are wearing gloves here, you can see they are here, this is, he's also wearing this this helmet, this, so it is showing that some kind of norms are present in this sector, in this picture, wherever this picture is belonging to. Now coming to India, just look at the pictures carefully. Look at this picture. The boat has the Savitri name written here, so it can be made out that this boat is belonging to somewhere in India, or let's say nearby countries, but I believe that this image is it is taken in Indian context. Look at the condition of the boat. Simply, in the name of safety guards, or this round, what you call that, we have tires here. Look at the uniform of the people working in this trade on the ship. Look at this gentleman, he is not even wearing proper clothes because he is ready to swim in the water. Look at this gentleman, they do not have any kind of boots, forget about the safety boots. They do not have any kind of helmets here. The way the ships is just tied with the ropes. So here we can see that the condition of ships, because I'm going to take you through the fishing industry in India. So here, these are the elements present in the picture. Look at how the boats are parked in the background, so congested. So do you think that security norms and procedures are being followed here in the country according to the picture you are seeing on the screen? Then seeing the norms of the safety guidance, safety procedures, safety uniforms and other procedures, are these people, or are they adhering to these norms? No. Look at the condition of the boats. Do you think that these are the secured shipping machines are Indian fishermen carrying? No. Look at the way the main focus behind showing females in this picture is that this is the only sector in the country where the maximum number of females, women, are engaged in this sector. Engaged in this sector, here the total population, whatever, who is engaged in this trade of fishing, females are making the largest number of stakeholders within this sector. That is why I've shown this picture to you guys, because the sorting, grading, drying up, all these things are generally carried out by the females in the fishing community and coastal zones. Look at this young man, the way fish buckets are, the fishes are sorted, and here it is stocked. This young man is still standing into the water, and look at the picture in background. Do you think that safety is anywhere here? So that means these people are still working in the traditional lines. Our fishing sector is not yet developed. It is not working on the modern lines. This is I just wanted to show you through these pictures. We are not done yet. Look at this. The way these people are sorting their nets. That means the commercial fishing in India, it is majorly being carried out in a sustainable, non-sustainable manner. Here, the livelihood is the prime factor, rather making the commercialization of this trade. Because the condition of boats you have seen, the way people are engaged in this trade, and do you think that, looking at this picture, do you think these people have any kind of social security? Do you think these people have any kind of security jackets? God forbid, if anything happens in the deep seas, in the high tides, if there are certain bad weather or local conditions in the deep sea and high seas, what these people will do, other than getting or taking a shelter within this shelter, or in the, like, I don't think that there is a deck in the, because the ship doesn't seem so large. So what will they do? And if anybody has lost their lives, what sort of provisions, social security, health insurance, or whatsoever type of insurance, institutionalized manner I'm talking about, do they have access to? That is also an issue. So, and this is the situation of Indian coast at many places. Look at the pollution here. Look at the water pollution. Look there, here, if there is a pile up of the garbage nearby the shores, then I believe that, because it is a big problem in India, that in the inland water system and in the open seas, we are just draining our treated water directly coming from the industries, oil refineries, or whatsoever. And even ships, major ships that are working for the exports and imports, they are also doing a great or adding great volume of oil spillage into the water. So what sort of damage are we having on our water bodies? So do you think, seeing these pictures again in a row, don't you think that you have already got an idea that what is the condition of fishing system in India? And if without these things working fine, we are making a great exports and we are still seeing a jump, so that means our fishing sector has a great scope to work upon. We can carry out great deals of development and reforms in this sector, so that this 35 can be made 85, 95 eventually. Don't you think? Right? So that was my context to take you through the background of this topic, so that you can actually understand. So now we'll be talking about, I'll explain you in the form of a story, as I always do, that what is the thing that we have to look at from this perspective within this context, right? So if I tell you, if I narrate you the story of this, that fisheries and aquaculture in India is an important source of food production, nutritional security for Indians, employment generation sector this is, and it is a great source of income generation for the people who are living in the coastal region of India. In India, the coast starts from the Gujarat in the western side, then Maharashtra, Goa, Karnataka, Kerala, then coming towards the eastern and above side, we have Tamil Nadu, we have, after Goa, Karnataka, Kerala, then Tamil Nadu, then Andhra Pradesh, then Odisha, and then West Bengal. Then that long coastline, we have hundreds of districts. From that hundreds of districts, 20 million people, or more than 20 million people, are directly depending upon the fisheries as their direct source of livelihood. I'm not talking about indirect ones, those who are involved in the trading or who are just taking fish as a food consumption product. No, I'm talking about those people who are involved directly in this sector. So they are more than 20 million who are working as fish farmers in this industry, in this sector. So you can see that what a great source of dependence it is providing, and what a great source of employment generation this sector has been. And it is coming under the agriculture, because it is in the animal husbandry part, where this fishing industry is a different subsector within the sector of agriculture and allied areas. So it is contributing to nearly 1.75 trillion annually to gross value added to India's economy. 1.75 trillion rupees in the gross value addition annually we are seeing here in the sector, and it is a major export earner, as you have seen, right? With fish being one of the most important agricultural commodities to be exported, and here the dried shrimps, frozen shrimps to be specific, right? That you have seen that 75% is just going to it is making the export, and within this area 45% is going to United States alone, right? So that is bringing us the dollars back right now. So the Indian fishery system is comprising of that. It is the primary source of livelihood, number one we have seen, and India is the world's second largest fish producer. I'm talking about, not saying that exporter. It is the fish producer that is second largest, and exports worth more than rupees 50,000 crore worldwide. Important, right? And fisheries are the country's largest agricultural export. Talking about the agricultural export, so fisheries is making the country's single largest agricultural export commodity from India, with a growth rate of 6 to 10%, even more sometimes, with respect to just 2 to 3% annual growth we are seeing in the same period in the other sectors other than the fishery department. We are talking about from the 5 years perspective, that is within the 5 years the agriculture has just shown a growth of 2 to 3%, whereas in the same period this fishery sector has shown an increase of more than 6 to 10% even just in the span of 5 years. So you can see that what a tremendous growth, what a remarkable growth this sector is showing right now. This significance, it is also showing the growth rate of the farm sector in the same period, as I said, and this marine fish population of 3.5 million, 10.5 million people are engaged in inland fishery and fish farming, right? So here in India we can divide our fishing sector in two areas, where one is the marine fishery, that means people who are going into the deep seas and high seas, and the other one who are involved in the inland fishing farming, where the ponds are there, where we have the lakes fishing is there, the river fishing is there, brackish water fishing farming is there, as you can see. So you must have seen the fish farms in the coastal areas and in the interior of the coastal areas like Odisha, Bengal, and then Bihar, and then Maharashtra interiors, Gujarat you might have seen. So all these areas are showing the fish farming, and even in states like Punjab and Jammu and Kashmir we have seen that what sort of fishing is also doing, and the community who is dependent on this sector is doing very well considerably, but still there is a lot more scope to do that. Now if we talk about the potential of Indian fisheries system, right? Simply understand, India is a big country. It has perennial rivers, it has seasonal rivers. Perennial rivers, that means those that are not seasonal, that means they are flowing throughout the year, like the rivers coming from the Himalayan river system or Himalayan mountain range, like Ganga, Yamuna, and other tributaries, and like the rivers coming in the northeastern side, like the Brahmaputra is major, and the seasonal rivers, like mostly considered in the Deccan Plateau regions, where Godavari, Krishna, and Kaveri and their tributaries are making the major river system, and that is how it is divided in the country. So here you can see that this vast volume of rivers, number of rivers in fact, and now state in India is having where one or the other major rivers is flowing. There is no state, either in the form of direct stream or in the form of tributary or distributary. Indian states are so blessed with the river systems in the country. Even Rajasthan, states like very dry states like Rajasthan is also having the rivers. Now the other is the very large coastline in India. We have 8,000 kilometers coastline, and this exclusive economic zone of over 2 million square kilometer, 2 million, that means 20 lakh square kilometer, with extensive freshwater resources in inland system. We have this tremendous potential to develop this sector. That means we do not have this the source of river the fish production in India. It is not at all in a vulnerable phase. We have plenty of opportunity as far as the natural water is concerned. So therefore, presently India is the second largest fish producing country and second largest aquaculture nation in the world after China, right? This is it. But here, there's just one drawback I just got remind of, so that I would like to quote here so that I don't forget, that India is lying between the tropics. As you can see, the Tropic of Cancer is straightly passing from the states of Gujarat, Rajasthan, then Madhya Pradesh, and then other states throughout going to the Tripura side. And it is just above the equator line. So that means mostly in the Indian geographical location is lying in the tropical and subtropical region. Here, the fishes are having the high volume of oil, which is not good for consumption actually, though they have many other medicinal values, but direct consumption, direct taste-wide consumption, it is not that great when compared to the fishing in the temperate regions, to be specific. So this is just a small drawback. However, it is not accounting because we have a great inland freshwater bodies, fish where we are actually having great taste fishes production. Right now, as you can see that the total fish production during the year of 2017, 2018, 2019 was registered at approximately 13 million metric tons, with a contribution of approximately 9 million metric tons from the inland sector and 3.69 from the marine sector. So you can see that majority of the contribution is coming from the inland water system, not from the marine sector, right? This is a prelims point of view information for you guys. That, let me just make some space here. I hope you are understanding the topic, because this is an important topic and sometimes UPSC is asking sector specific or the subsector specific questions in mains. So you should have this deep knowledge here. So the inland water system, inland fishing is contributing major than the marine fishing, right? Based on 2017 and 18 data I am talking about, and this is important for your prelims, that inland fishing system is a major contributor, whereas the marine fishing system is not that high contributor when it coming to the production system. All right, next we have is that the marine fishery potential in the Indian waters have been estimated at 5.31 million metric ton, constituting about 43% demersal and 49.5% pelagic and 4.3% in the oceanic groups. Don't get into these terms, because like it is not going to help you on the exam, but it is just for your understanding. I'm just quoting that annual fishery capacity we have is somewhere about 6 to over or 6+% million metric tons, whereas we are just potentialing or we are exploiting half or even lesser than half of that in India. Right now, marine fishery sector contributes to food security and provide direct employment to over 1.5 million fish farmers or fish employees, besides other indirectly dependent on this sector, whereas so many people are working in the logistics, transportation, sorting, grading and drying up, and the suppliers of fish nets, fish feeds, suppliers of or making of these boats and other safety apparatuses, and the whatever the allied products you are talking about, it is coming here, right? And there are more than 3,500 marine fishing villages in the country, and 1537 or plus notified fish landing centers in 9 maritime states. Almost 1,600 fish landing centers we have in the country in the 9 maritime states and 2 union territories, because the Lakshadweep and Andaman Nicobar islands groups is also a major fishing community, people staying there, right? So now this is the large tremendous potential we have in this area, and what we are getting, it is just merely penny, right? And it is not at all up to the worth of what this sector could contribute to the main economic system. This is the main issue here so far we are seeing. Right now, If we talk about the inland fishing system, because we have talked about the maritime fishing, now we talk about the inland fishing system. India's freshwater resources, that is consisting of ponds, lakes, canals, rivers, brackish waters, artificial lakes, artificial reservoirs, artificial ponds. So it is almost 1 or 2 lakh square 2 lakh kilometers square kilometer area we have, consisting of rivers and canals only. Reservoirs we have 3.15 million hectares area. Ponds and tanks we have 235 million hectares area. Oxbow lakes, you must have studied the meandering system in the geographical part, when the flow of water is very slow in the plains. So water, rather going in the straight line, it is going in the snake way, where it is going in the round left, round right. And whenever the rounds taken in the left and right side, where the curves are being made, whenever the stream has the high strength of water, so over the period of time, those curves made at the rounding part is generally cut off from the mainstream, and that's how you end up getting the oxbow lakes in the plain areas. This is basically followed after the meandering process. So meandering is the slow movement of water or river streams in the plain areas. You should read more about this in the geographical section in the class 8 or class 9 books. Now here, the oxbow lakes and derelict waters, it consisting of 1.3 million hectares, and brackish waters consisting of 1.25 million hectares. And we have brackish waters mostly in the Kerala state and some in the West Bengal regions. And estuaries we have 0.29 million hectares. So this is the breakup of what inland water system we have. And the inland capture fish production has increased from almost 2 lakh tons in 1950 to almost 10 lakh tons in 2010. This is a major paradigm. We are seeing that the growth here has been 10 times we have seen in this 5 or 6 decades. And the major species being cyprinids, siluroids and murrels. So these are the major species we are just capturing within the brackish waters or the inland water system. So this is just a broader classification. However, you don't have to remember the exact figures or what sort of we have, but just an approximation of 2-3 like rivers and canals, ponds and tanks, and other or etc. consisting of the different areas like brackish waters and oxbow lakes like. So this is the division we have seen. Now let's see what are the challenges being faced. The challenges are similar, or it will be fitting in the same section what we have discussed while I was showing you the photographs. So now the first challenge we see here in this sector is the sustainability. The first is because the Food and Agricultural Organization's State of World Fisheries and Aquaculture Report, that is FAO, State of World Fisheries excuse me, and aquaculture reports note that nearly 90% of global marine fish stocks have either been fully exploited, 90%, or overfished or depleted to an extent that recovery may not be biologically possible. So that means that the exploitation of this sector has been so unscientific, unsustainable, and has been irrational that this report released by Food and Agricultural Organization, which has a credibility, and that shows that either the stock has been fully exploited or overfished or depleted, because in the deep seas or beyond a certain limit, people with the compromised availability of resources, not very high standard fishing boats, shipping, carriages, not very scientific or expensive nets, synthetic nets, or with great security procedures and safety procedures, and with accurate availability of the weather related phenomena in the deep seas, this community cannot go to the region where fishing or the availability of fish is available. That is the challenge, because the accessibility can only ensure the sustainability, right? But if we do not have the accessibility from the point of view of the availability of resources or the safety procedures or the availability of government backed structures, so we cannot make this sector sustainable for the fishing communities in India, right? So the near shore coastal waters are highly overfished because we have that reach limited to the coastline only, right? So here we are fishing, and all when in certain specific area, when majority of the people are fishing, here the fishing availability will be overly exploited, right? Next is increasing demand. In order to meet the ever increasing demand in the form of, because when in India the modernity is rising, the urbanization is rising, the majority of the time of both the genders is devoted towards the commercial activities. So here the demand for ready to eat food and fastly prepared foods, canned foods, processed foods is increased. When this is increased, so here the demand of this fish products that has the long shelf values with lesser chemical additions is highly increased and spiked. So in this manner, where the animal protein demands have risen, the global fish production should touch almost 200 million tons by 2025, but it currently stands at 170 million tons. So we are still shortening of 30 million tons supplies. So considering this current depletion rate of marine fish stocks, that supply and demand matching gap is not possible, because as we have seen that either the fish areas have been fully exploited, overly exploited, or depleted. So in this manner, the raw demand we have is of over 200 million metric tons. We are just able to supply 170 million tons. So this demand cannot be fulfilled if the rate of fishing exploitation in this non-scientific manner is carried on or continued, right? Next, we are talking about the productivity. Let's say I would like to compare here two fishery states. One is let's say the Nordic countries or other countries in that vicinity like Sweden, Finland, Norway. So in those countries, the per day average catch per small fishery farmer we are talking about, not the commercial trawlers, the fishing farmers, per day average, in an average, they are catching 250 to 300 kilogram fishes every day. 250 to 300 kilograms. Whereas in India, you'll be shocked to understand, you will shock to see and get to know this fact that in India, it is below 10 kilogram per day per fishing farmer or fisherman. See the difference where India is lying at the moment. So the reason behind showing you the pictures where this picture, you can see the fishes here, right? You can see the number of people involved and engaged on this ship. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 we can count here, but I don't know how many gentlemen are there in this dock, and how many people are sitting behind the dock, and how many people are waiting at the shores, right? If you have been to Goa, you might have seen that when a fish ship is coming after a catch, so many people are already waiting there so that they can actually offload the fishes there, and so many people have come there with a big bagonas of food making so that they can actually feed them. So you can see that how many people are engaged in that activity and how many people are dependent upon the cash conversion of whatever the catch these people could make. So this is why this is a big difference, that the fish farmers in the western region, they are making almost 250 to 300 kilograms per fisherman catch, whereas in India it is below 10 kilograms, which is not at all good or not even matching that area. Insufficient mechanization we have seen, because I have shown you the nets, I have shown you the security and safety elements we have, or the equipments, and then the condition of ships you have seen. So the marine capture fishery comprises largely of small fishermen, we have seen that, with lesser amount of investment, with lesser amount of the credible monetary supplies, that means the formal institutional credit, who operate traditional boats. Traditional boats, that means they are lacking the scientific apparatus, safety facilities, and other major or modern equipments. They are all lacking. Either non-motorized vessels or boats with a basic outboard motor. Outboard motor, in Desi language, in the northern India side, we call it a jugaad. That means a generator you have just kept over the ship, and that generator is just controlling the ship with no hydraulic brakes, with no hydraulic speed controller, no radar or whatsoever, nothing. They just go in the direction with the nose pointing towards the strait, and they just come back by seeing the flags over the coastline you have seen, right? These vessels cannot operate beyond near shore waters, as I said, that they cannot go beyond a restricted line or in the deep sea. So will there be catch? No. That is why the fishes in the nearby zones, they are the entire thing is overly exploited, right? Here high values fishes such as tuna cannot be caught because it is not found near the coastline because of many disturbances in the water, either tourism activities, either the commercial institutional activities, industrial activities, or whatsoever. Now, so the fishermen who use this vessel, they cannot they go deep in the water, right? The lack of refrigeration facilities leads to spoilage of the huge catch, right? See here, see the fishes. Here it's still muddy, and they have caught it today. So today only they will be sold. You can see the fish lying on the roadside system, and the way people are just making a buying and selling. So you can see the condition of the fish, and fishes are only bought through like the way like I'm not a fish eater, but yes, like people who understand this thing, they buy these fishes by looking at the condition of their eyes, I think. So the eyes condition says that fish is fresh or it is stale, so they have to sell it on the same day itself, and the way they are selling, as you can see on the screen, it is highly compromised. So this lack of refrigeration facilities leads to spoilage of huge catch, spoilage of expensive catch. So use of formalin to keep the stock fresh has led to a ban on export of fish catch. Formalin will delay the process of decaying, right? Because once the fish is out of the water, it starts decaying. So in that manner, this formalin is blocked. It is actually banned in many countries, and China has of late has been raising this issue with India, that they are finding that they have been finding this acidic and chemicals on the fish skins, so which is not fit for the imports in the China from the origin of Indian export system, right? So this is a challenge for India. Now, the bottom trawling, improper demarcation of fishing boundaries. Bottom trawling means the large or good catch is always found in the deep side near the bottom. So it is actually, the nets are sent by through the cranes, and they are pulled back through the hydraulic cranes, which is not in the affordability of the smaller fishermen. So they are not able to compete with them, hence they are suffering like hell. And here the demarcation of the marine is not at all rationally possible, because like sometimes like it is here and there moving, and the people are lacking in this knowledge and awareness, and India is not sharing that great relationship with with Sri Lanka when it comes to fishing boundary line. So many people here, or let's say in the Pakistan side, Bangladesh side, many people knowingly or unknowingly, they cross over the boundaries, international waters. So hence they are generally arrested, sometimes shot dead by the neighboring countries like Sri Lanka, Pakistan and Bangladesh. This is a major issue, and I told you when I was discussing this Sir Creek issue in our previous videos in the starting of January, that in the Sir Creek region nearby the Kutch region of Gujarat, when fishermen are caught hold by the marine police of neighboring countries like Pakistan, so they are arrested with their boats, but when they are released, they're released from the Wagah border side, from the Lahore side in the Punjab state of India. So their boats are never returned. So it is an economical loss to these people, because the equipment is lost, hence the livelihood is being challenged here. So these are the major problems we have seen. So what could be the way forward? The way forward could be that national policy on marine fisheries that should comprising of the deep sea fishing vessels, affordability and availability and accessibility, and assisting fishing communities to convert their vessels and gear for the waters beyond their traditional reach should be made. So this must be imbibed, or it must be taken care of within the national policy on marine fisheries. There's a need to factor in the sustainability challenges and acknowledge the fishing is a primary livelihood for more than 20 million people, because their activities are directly dependent upon the fishing sector, and a large number of communities and individuals are indirectly dependent on the sector. Hence, this sustainability has to be scientifically thought and approached, and how we can enhance the volume of fishing availabilities near the coastal lines, we can also ensure that. And the local infrastructure, because at the moment we have 1600 landing points in 9 states, so those landing points we should have the basic infrastructure where the sorting, grading, drying facilities can be made, and the quality of water which is being used in washing that the fishes should be chemical free, because it is adding substance like formalin, which is not at all good for health, because it is a cancerous agent, right? And in this way we can save our catches from getting spoiled, because according to the food processing policy of India, the farm to fork and sea to plate, that should be the ultimate goal, with the least possible spoilage and discardage of the foods and wastage of the food and whatever the fish in this manner, right? So the policies framed by the new department, or the department, should aim at enhancing productivity, better returns, sustainability, and making this sector as a proficient one and profitable for all the communities and members who are dependent on this sector for their income generation, right? So this sector should be made a sustainable one, not a risky one, right? The policy envisage that intensive fish farming through increased stocking of seed, better feed quality, and diversification of species through the scientific management, and more research and development by giving more fundings to this area, because we have to develop more fishing species that has the longer shelf life, so that we can make our supply chain a reliable one, right? And that's how we can only make good exports from India. We must prioritize seed production in order to attain self-sufficiency in the sector, because majorly we are importing the seeds mostly from countries like Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, Indonesia, Japan, South Korea, so which is not good, because if India has such a large industry, so this seed production should be homemade, right? Open sea cage culture, it is a pilot stage project and the initial trials has given promising results. So this may prove another game changer, that open sea cage culture, where we can make deep sea fishing a affordable one. Also in this area we can actually talk about the just a second. Here we have one very ambitious and great scheme named as Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana. This program is aimed to achieve 22 million tons of fish production by 2024-25, and is also expected to create employment opportunity for 55 lakh people. That is 5.5 million people by 2024 and 25, because this here we can segregate and provide the employment to the community where they are living, and the coastal community are at very risk because their livelihood is at stake. They are highly vulnerable because of the climate change condition, the level of sea rising up, and the ways we are seeing that how many cyclones are coming in, how many this water problems are coming in. So these are the people who are affected mostly, and these people have very low access to formal credit system, and they have to stand back on their foot and their feet after these kind of troubles and disasters on their own. So this Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana is a comprehensive scheme which not only ensures the development of the fish species for the production, employment opportunity, and also the social security of the farmers. So this blue revolution can only be ensured when the security, which is social security and professional security, the infrastructure, availability of credit like Kisan credit card has been extended to these people also, because it is a farming sector, and the fishermen also known as the fish farmers. So all these things thinking about it. And one more thing, that education in this sector, it is also important, because the way we read geography, because we read geography to clear this exam, but they must be taught geography and other simple aspects of weather and climate system, so that they can be made aware, and they can like analyze and make plus minus according to their selves by their prior knowledge and their skillful knowledge, traditional knowledge they have been receiving from generations to generation, so that they can make quick decisions. And in this manner, the department of the meteorological department plays an important role. The accuracy of information is highly important for these people, because when they are going in the deep seas or in the waters, their life is at stake, and they're not only life, but the people who are dependent on them, for example their children, their families, all lives are at stake. So the assets might turn into liabilities for the people. So entire comprehensive and joint coordination efforts of many sectors like fishing, shipping, the industries, the logisticals, transport, road system, the making of cold storages, the ice houses, all these needs to be working in a coordinated manner. Then only the blue revolution, the objective scheme of India, or objective vision of India, or ambitious vision of India, can only be attained and achieved. So this is an important sector for your mains analysis. That is why I took a very long time to make you understand about this area. Hope you understood this topic, and you can now tackle any questions that come across to you. Thank you so much.